G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Destro the Oz Geek, and I know I'm going to absolutely butcher this wording. This is the XingGang Mechanical Planet. I think that's how you pronounce Xing. Probably not. Anyway, so this is basically a mini Cybertron or a mini Primus. And I've got two of these. I ended up buying two of them. I saw them initially on Show Z, and I'm like, I really got to get one. And I can't remember where I ended up getting it from, but I got one, and I was pretty happy with it, so I got a second one. So this is a mini Primus. He does transform. I've got him in planet mode because that is how I have him displayed. Like I said, I have two of these because as much as I wasn't about to transform my Studio 01 Seed, I think it was, which is their Primus, never again. I did like the idea of him having the two moons. So I basically got these as my stand-in moon bases. In saying that, the transformation's pretty simple, not half bad. The plastic's not overly great, and there is an issue that I don't know if it's in this one or the other one, because I haven't transformed it, but I have partially broken the heel of one of them. It might be this one, it could be the other one, I'm not sure. So I will just have to see when I get to it, but I will point out what exactly the deal is. So here we go. So it comes with a stand and little curvy thing so he can spin, although just beware that these little sticky out bits are probably going to rub against it, so you don't actually want to use it like a globe. But it does spin around, which is nice. You can, of course, take that off, take the stand away, and you'll have basically a ball. Now, I don't know specifically if any of these are actually meant to be self-representative of any of like Iacon or Kanon or anything, because I think Kaon's meant to be down here somewhere, but we don't really see it. I suppose one of these big old spots could be Iacon, but I don't know. So we'll put that to the side for the moment because we will need that in a minute. In saying that, obviously we'll do a final size comparison. Yes, I will bring Seed in. I am not doing a robot comparison. Like I said, I refuse to transform him ever again. I finally got him relatively flat. He still needs a few attachments to him. I've had him sitting on my kitchen bench for a while. I've really got to get around to that. But I am still not willing to transform that. I am not doing a review on it at all. But you do have like weird things around, things like globe. There's a few numbers everywhere, 04. I think I saw a 3 somewhere. But it is what it is. Like I said, it's a nice legend scale stand-in for your Primus. And he actually decently looks like a take on Primus, or especially a take on the, ironically, Unicron Trilogy Primus / Seed. And I'll show you why in a minute. So let's get down to transformation, and I always forget where the panels are. Now, this guy does come in robot mode, so just be aware of that. Also, I am aware that there is actually a new version of this, which is Earth. I don't need it, so I'm not getting it, but it is there. All right, so now to find spots. I've got my part separator if I need it, so flip this out. And I'm glad I haven't trimmed my nails too much recently. Flip that out. Don't go hard on things. You will snap things if you're not careful. All right, so we have, I think this is our heels here. So they can come out and down a bit. Like I said, don't go stupid on it. We want to get his legs up. We'll flip this piece up just to clear all this out. We can actually bring this out further. Where are you? I know there's another tab or something here somewhere. Where are you? We'll extend that out a bit anyway. So it's, there we go. Just lift these up a little bit. And then we can bring this back. So that's the shoulder. You got the hinge here, so just bring that back. It does tab in. I'll show you where when we get to that part. Just to give you more clearance. Right, what we're going to do is very carefully straighten our legs. It is very tight at those knees, and you have, I'm going to straighten these hips out so I can do a bit more room. Be careful of that waist. So be careful where you're putting your fingers. And his hips are very, very tight. So what I might do is actually get him into his hips attached. So you have ports, your tabs, ports, and bring that down. This is, I don't know why this is a little bit tight. So you have to basically push it back on itself and tab in. So now I should actually have a little bit more oomph to get his hips extended. These are awkward and painful and tight, so be aware of that. I'm going to split his legs. So this tab is going to go into the back of the knee. And we'll leave that like so. Now, let me have a look. So far, so good. All right, so same on the other side. Bring that up, and that will tab in. You won't feel it, but it will be there. And this is the one I haven't broken yet. These are in absolutely terrible spots. Absolutely terrible spots. They do not slide. They feel like they should, but they don't. So you have to be very, very careful. Basically, the gist is you have to flip this up here. But if you look very, 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 very carefully, there is no room between that and that. You have a little bit here, but not really there. So what you've got to do is very careful, and I'm trying to figure out how I have my finger. You have to be very gentle. I think I can slide it a little bit, but not much. And you just gently push that. So you will hear that click, and it is rubbing there. If you go like this, like you're playing with a mainline figure, you will start snapping that. My other one has a snapped hip, has a snapped ankle. So just gently. So it's rubbing past. You can probably shave that down a bit. I haven't because I haven't had the need to, but just be aware of that, and it's on the same on the other side. So this slides up. That tab goes into the side of the leg, like so. Then what you want to do is you want to pop, or try to pop, his foot out, like so, and bring it, make sure it slides down. So there is your heel and your foot, like so, which will be even better once he's got both. So once again, we are going to be very, very gentle. And we get that past there, and of course, that goes into the back there. Then we flip our foot out, like so, and slide down. So there are our legs. All right, now let's do a bit of the back. This can come down here, butt flap. So what we're going to do, and I'm trying to remember how this works. It's been a while since I've transformed it. We're going to rotate the wing and bring it back, and you have this tab that will go through, will go through this port, which you can see on the other side. So that goes into there, and then that can wiggle back like so. So you have this sort of configuration. See on the other side, bring that back, rotate it. Just be gentle. Just be gentle. Don't go hard on things, because that's when things are likely to break. The plastic's not 100 on this, so just be super damn careful. I really, really do mean that. All right, so then we have our arms, which you can bring these down for the moment. You're going to grab this and slide it over and down, and there should be, there's a little tab somewhere, or it just sort of sits there. Same on the other side. They can just come over. You have the shoulders, and you're going to bring them down like so. And you can angle them how you want. And I'm pretty sure, no, that last bit mustn't move. I thought it did. You can get a little bit lower, I think, but I just try to keep it roughly even. And there is your, and I'm just looking at that thing, if there is that, can we do we turn that? I don't think we do, because I think that will get in the way of things. Anyway, there is your Legends Scale Primus in his robot mode. He does look pretty damn good. I won't lie, he does look really, 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 really good. I do enjoy him a lot, even though like some of the paint tempos don't actually make a whole lot of sense. But he gets the job done. He is a Legend Scale Primus. He does Cybertron bit. He does the transformation. The colors are actually nice and vibrant, especially his chest and his shoulders. His plastic just is a little bit cheap. So that's my biggest concern. Yes, you see ball joints and mushroom pegs. You know, honestly, considering I've been doing a lot of mainline stuff, it doesn't really bother me that much. And I've had this guy for more than a few months. I got him back. It's been at least 3-4 months, give or take maybe a little bit more. I got him with somebody else. I'm trying to think who I got him from. I'm pretty sure I got him from Show Z ultimately, but I'm trying to think who else I ordered. I can't remember. Anyway, so was it Scavenger? Scrapper. One of the two. Anyway, I got him a while back. And so I've been on him for months. Mainly because I've had so many of the mainline stuff I had to get done. You know, the primes have become a major thing. But now that I'm waiting for Amalgamus and that, I thought, why not let's get into this guy? So yeah, he is pretty sweet. So we do have articulation, although things are very, very tight. So be aware of that. We can get a full 360, although you're probably going to start rubbing against that backpack. You have a little side to side, because I think that is actually a ball joint. A little up, not really down, and that doesn't extend at all. You do get a full 360, but things are going to start hitting into things, especially with his backpack. Arm can go out this far because there is no upper hinge on that shoulder, so you cannot actually get it properly out. Of course, we get a bicep rotation at the ball joint. We have elbow bend that gets you that far. There's nothing at the hand or the fingers. That is one solid piece. Nothing at the waist. You saw how the transformation worked. So just double checking, you can't. But if you can manage to get that hinge undone, you can get a forward ab crunch. Probably get actually a little bit more if you get past the joint. So you can get him looking down, or you can get him looking way up. But that is filling with transformation joints at that point. So lift that up of the way. Leg goes up this far until the hip impacts the waist. The legs, like I said, are very tight. So they go up that far and go back that far, hitting that butt flap, which of course you can move that in and out as you need. I would recommend, if you are game enough, to pop those off and maybe put a bit of oil or something on those hot hips to give it a bit more room. But you do have upper thigh rotation on a ball joint. Knees, being very careful because you're going to activate that transformation joint. I don't even think I can get the knees to move. It feels like hitting that butt flap. It feels like it's a ratchet in there, but I don't think it is. But it is stupid tight, so be aware of that. There's no ankle tilt, it's probably, I was going to say molded in, but even that's not really there. You get toe down, you get a toe up. Not even going to tempt that, but yeah, that is your articulation. Of course, you can articulate those how you wish. So just beware, you're going to have to be working on your balancing, which honestly, considering how tight his hip joints are, not going to be a huge problem. It's just going to be more fiddly. But like I said, I have this guy in planet mode, so I'm not overly too worried. And of course, the wings can go in and out if you want to do that. But that's entirely up to you. Now, he does have accessories because we saw them before. He has, I'm just trying to, that's why I was wondering why his foot was doing weird things because his ankle wasn't situated. He has these. So what you can do is you can take that off. And in here you have a tab. And you can then have a port here. I'm assuming that might work. We'll try that in a minute. But you can try being the operative word, to position his arm just in the right way that you can get that plugged in. It's marrying past that shoulder, so that's the problem. Try doing it this way. Is it going to work for me? I have had it work. Yeah, it's very, very fiddly. It's just a matter of that, seeing how far you can get in before that shoulder gets in the way. And of course, with this, you have a joint here. You fold that there, and you can either A, plug it up that way, or if you want a more decently looking sort of side, plug it from the bottom. So then he's sort of, if you want. I don't know. We'll try it. I think that's too big. Yeah, that's too big. But you should be able to. I think. I haven't tried this, but I'll try it. Maybe if you angle the tab down, will that fit? No, it doesn't fit in his hand. So it's all about trying to get it onto that shoulder. That's the sort of thing. So what you probably need to do is angle it down. I was going to say angle it down a little bit, but that probably wouldn't work either. There you go. So a slight angle, so that way it sort of sits reasonably snug. So there we go. Right, size comparisons. And I'm not getting any of the big boys out to do this. Here he is with MP10. He's pretty close to him. The top of the shoulders, if we use those, just about up to his chest. Looking at those shoulders, I'm like, the right one could probably go in more, but I think it's because of the shield's in the way. So, yeah, not too far from prime, honestly. And while the size comparison won't work, I will insert a picture right here, hopefully, of what the Studio 01 Seed looks like by comparison, just so you can see probably where they're getting their concept look from. So there we go. All right, let's get him transformed again and do our final size comparison. So I'm just going to fold that in. Doesn't really matter which way, as long as it's flat. Take that out again. I suppose if you really, really wanted to, you could also keep that extended and you have it even more like that, I guess. I'm just going to take that and I'm going to plug that into there. You also have this tab, so I suppose you could tab that into this side of his arm now that I'm thinking of it, but it is what it is. So let's get him transformed. So we're not doing any for the head. We're going to bring the arms up, the forearms up. We are going to lift that shoulder up, and we're just going to try and get the blue to sit just against his chest. We're going to extend one side and bring it in. It doesn't really tab it anywhere. Do the same on the other side. And you have sort of an interlocking feature. So you need to sort of separate them, bring them together, And then you need to basically make sure that this all will sit reasonably flat, like so. All right, so what are we going to do next? Let's do the legs, because I think they are the bit more complicated part. So I'm just going to bring his wings out a little bit. All right, so we are going to, my brain's doing a whoopsie trying to remember. We're going to bring the foot down and we're going to slide it up as far as it'll go. So that has to fill in that gap. There we go, slight click. Then we're going to very gently bring that heel back. Now you don't have as much of a problem there because it's rubbing backwards. You're not forcing it under. It's already forced under. So same with the other side. Bring that down and up and make sure it clicks. There we go. And bring that down. Make sure it slides up into place. Now I'm not going to tab them together yet because what I want to do is I need to get the hips forward and I need to get the shins also forward. So we're going to try to get that untabbed and back. And this is all going to have to sit in here. So I'm going to bring forward the leg. And I need to get that knee joint backwards. I think it actually has to slide further back, but I'll get to that if I think I do. So I think it needs to get into something like that. I'm just going to sit it like this for now. All right, so try to do the same on the other side. We're going to bring the leg back. This one's a little bit looser. I'm going to bring his hip as far forward as he'll let me. I'm just trying to try and keep his legs separated a bit and get that knee joint backwards like so. All right, then I'm going to get in here and I'm going to split that waist and just having a look at things, making sure I'm taking things where they're supposed to. So this is going to come forward because this is then all going to swing up. So we're going to tab all those tabs together. So I don't know if I'm going to show up with this port tab here, port here, and just sort of line everything up. All right. And then what's going to happen is all this is going to go under here. So making sure things are lined up where they're supposed to be. And I'm just having a look at the arms. So I'm a little bit off because this is going to have to come down so I don't have those hips far enough back. So I'm going to just gently pushing them. There we go. So now his hips have gone under here and that will lock into there once I get that in place. We're going to bring this back and you have these two sort of, they're not even really hooks. They're just sort of tabs. They're going to go behind there and hopefully line up properly. Come on. Well, who's not lining up properly for me? There we go. Then we're going to get that tab into where the hip is, like so. So that's lined up. Well, it was lined up until I released it again. There we go. It seems awkward, but trust me, I'd rather this transformation than the other one. All right, so the big problem is I don't have any, there's nothing, I'm not locking anything into place. So I'm going to untab this one and rotate it. So we're going to get one side in. So I knew I was going to do that. So you have this tab, which is going to go into this port. So swing that in. I'll let those legs dangle down just so it can just sort of sit there for now and try to get that tabbed into the side of his arm. And then we're going to bring this back up. And you have this tab, this port, which is this tab, and it'll slide in under there. Just try to line them up the best you can. Because the biggest problem is there really should be tabs for these legs, but I can't, the waist, but I can't really find any. Alright, so my arm's in the slightly wrong spot, I think. There we go. So I'm just trying to line up. There's one. There's two. Alright. Slide that in. And I need to get this tab under here. Whoops. Alright, try to get that up there. Get that into there. Get that into there. That's in the right place. So there's that one. Get that around. Like so. And then we're going to bring this one out. Rotate that. Straighten that out. Once again, we want that sort of hand sort of... I want to say there should be a tab. Yeah. There's a slight groove here with a slight sort of tab that isn't really a tab. So just sort of sit that. Bring this in. We want to get this into here. Let's get that one out. So, you know, everything's pretty much secure right now for the most part. There we go. Oh, itchy nose. Then we want to bring these tabs and this under here. So those line up with there. And give it not too hard a squish, but just a decent squish. Things don't always line up perfectly anyway, but that's, in my pardon, just the way things are. That one's nice and more tabbed in than this one. I don't know why. So, but either way, he is nice and transformed. And I would take that... All right. I know I never showed it, but that is a very similar transformation to the Studio Seed, which is absolutely nuts, because I hate that transformation because of how much empty space there is. But there is a lot, and I mean a lot of small panels that you have to try to line up in 100 different ways. This has less panels. Yes, there is still empty space, but I don't have to worry too much about it. So, of course, then you can plug that into there, and we have our Primus, our machine planets, our moon base 1 and or 2 back in his alt mode. So there you go. He is nice. I will admit, I would rather spend the time transforming this guy 100 times than ever touching the Studio Seed. I still hate that transformation that much. All right, size comparisons. There he is with Windblade. So yeah, he's a ball. What are you going to do? Now the jump cut. And here they are, because there is the other one. This is the one that actually has the slightly broken heel. Here they are with Studio 01 third-party Seed, aka their version of Primus, to which, as I said, never transforming him, never doing a full proper review of him, because holy shit, I refuse to get that angry and toss him at things. Like I said, I need to finish putting things in place before I putting him back up next to Unicron. But even now, you can see this massive seam down here that I cannot, for the love of me, get back in place. I've spent 3 hours trying to get this guy flat, and I give up. I refuse to get that angry. But he does look great, and they do look great together. So I am perfectly happy with having all three of them. You know, if I didn't have him, I admit I don't know if I would have gotten them, but even it could have been vice versa. I could have gotten one of these and never gotten him. But they do look great together as Cybertron and their moon bases. So there we go. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. And apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.